The SpaceX IPO, valued at $1.75 trillion, could end up being the largest and most unusual IPO in the history of the United States. In this video, what I want to do, I said many times before that whenever we invest in something, we need to know how the company makes money, what happens when they generate revenue, and what happens when they lose revenue. I don't know how other people do it, but my method, here on the Sci Money Monster channel, is to use a straightforward approach. We read the filings. So in this video, I'm going to read through some of the filings, just a portion, since we're limited on time, to see what exactly SpaceX does as a business. Are they really in the space business? Is launching rockets to the moon their main business? Where do they make their revenue? And where do they earn their profits? Are they currently making a profit or running at a loss? Where are the losses coming from? Or how much have they borrowed? Why does the market give SpaceX such a high premium? And if anyone says, hey, the credibility of the management is a key factor we need to consider when investing, well, let's take a look at whether SpaceX has actually delivered on what they've promised. So today, let's review everything together and see if Starship will really make it to the moon. You can support the SpaceX IPO clip from Style Money Waster by scanning this QR code. Or if you want to support the Thrive Money Monster channel, it's super easy. Just leave a comment to chat and interact, hit like, share, and most importantly, please subscribe to the channel. If you'd like, you can also become a channel member. Thank you so much. And today, special thanks to Outfit Q from Alima. Let's start with the spectacular images from the Starship V3 test, which everyone calls the Starship roadshow. The latest Starship test, Flight 12/V3, as the media put it, wasn't exactly a wow moment, but it wasn't a total failure either. Reuters even reported that this specific Starship test helped build some much-needed credibility with investors for SpaceX's upcoming initial public offering, and it's expected that they could raise about $80 billion or so. Now, here's the part where everyone says if you open the prospectus filing for the SpaceX IPO yourselves, you'll definitely fall asleep. Honestly, even I almost dozed off. But in this video, I promise to keep you awake. So let's dive right into the filing. You have to wait. Wow, it starts off with beautiful Starship images, like 14 stunning rocket photos. I have to say, every Starship in these photos looks amazing on camera. So first things first, when we open the filing, besides admiring the beautiful images, we want to know, hey, what exactly is SpaceX's mission? So I scrolled right to the main mission section. The goal of SpaceX, when I read it, I was a bit taken aback. Wait, does it have some kind of spiritual vibe? Let me read this part for you. It says, expand the light of consciousness. So in Thai, expand the light of consciousness means spreading the light of consciousness to the stars. And this phrase, this sentence, isn't just written once or twice. It pops up like 10 times as I read through. So does that mean that spreading the light of consciousness to the stars is really SpaceX's main mission? Then, when I looked into the reason, like, hey, why does SpaceX's main mission sound so spiritual? I scrolled to about page 136 and there it was. What SpaceX warns investors about is that they say, because we don't want humanity to share the same fate as the dinosaurs. Well, that's a reason. It's possible. Okay, let's keep going and stop right there. Don't say what's in your head just yet. Don't tease. Let's finish this first. Yeah, let's keep watching to see what kind of business SpaceX actually plans to do as written in their prospectus. There are 6 main future businesses. The first one is point-to-point terrestrial travel, which means long-distance ground travel from one point to another. This probably refers to traveling by rocket, like the VRS, instead of by airplane. Actually, Gwynne Shotwell, the president of SpaceX, talked about this on the TED Talk stage back in 2018. Let's put a pin in that for now. I'll come back and explain it later. The second future business is space tourism, which is traveling in space. You've probably heard of this one already. The third is passenger and cargo transport to the moon and Mars, which means transporting people and goods to the moon. Mars, right? You've probably heard of that one too. The fourth is energy production and manufacturing on the moon and Mars. That means generating energy and building factories or whatever on the moon and Mars, probably to help reduce pollution on Earth. The fifth is in-orbit manufacturing, which is basically having factories in space orbit, something like that. Number 6 is asteroid mining, which means going out to mine important minerals from asteroids outside of Earth. So instead of digging up the Earth's surface and making it look ugly, if we can mine in space, let's do that. So what kind of company is SpaceX anyway? It's not a weird question, because if you follow SpaceX around for 24 years, just look at the pictures in their filings. There are 14 photos in a row, or you can read about their achievements, their Starlink, and even the company name itself. SpaceX has to be a company that does space business, right? How could it be anything else? But when we read their filings, honestly, wait, am I misunderstanding? Or is it not actually a space company? Or is it an AI company? Let's look at the numbers to figure it out. If you look at SpaceX's estimated TAM by segment, TAM stands for Total Addressable Market, which in time means the overall market cap. SpaceX expects to capture a share of that market, and they estimate their market share could be as high as $28.5 trillion. That's a huge number. It's even bigger than the GDP of the United States. So if you look at the prospectus, what does this projected market cap consist of? It's divided into 3 categories: space, which is the actual space business, connectivity, like Starlink and related services, and finally, AI. So let's look at the chart. Take a look at this chart. In this chart, you'll see that the very first column at the bottom, which is the space business, is expected to have a market cap of $370 billion. The second column, connectivity, like Starlink and related services, is projected to have a market cap of $1.6 trillion. And the third column, AI, is expected to reach a market cap of $26.5 trillion. In other words, that AI column alone accounts for 93% of the market cap they expect to capture, right? And it's way bigger than space. It's even bigger than space plus connectivity combined. So I started to wonder, why is that? Does AI really make that much money for SpaceX? So I scrolled down a bit more to check. Turns out, in this filing, there are financial statements included. I tried scrolling through them, and they show the years 2024, 2025, and 2026. Basically, they display 3 years. I scrolled to look at the most recent year, 2026. You can check it out together with me like this. We'll look at it in 3 parts, right? I remember there's space, connectivity, and AI. For the space part, this is just the profit and loss. So for the space segment, which involves building and actually launching rockets, anything in parentheses means a loss, okay? There was a loss of $626 million. Next, connectivity. This is the Starlink segment. Since there are no parentheses, that means it's a profit, $1.1 billion. And for AI, AI had a loss of $2.469 billion. In just 3 months, it turns out that the segment they thought would give them the highest market cap, AI, is actually the one losing the most money. So why are they so determined to go after AI? This means that the area they expected to capture the biggest market share is actually the one where they're losing the most. And that means the only business segment making a profit is Starlink. It's carrying 2 other businesses that are already losing a lot of money. When we see simple public info like an IPO valued at $1.75 trillion, we should pause for a moment and dig deeper. Instead of just thinking, wow, that's the biggest ever, we should think about whether that is actually the case. If you compare SpaceX's valuation to similar S&P 500 companies, let's compare them directly and see the real story. It's ranked 7th in the S&P 500 market, right? This is the company's valuation figure that they mention. But let's take a look first at how much revenue they actually make, whether they're profitable or losing money. Yeah, let's check the financial statements. Next, let's see in 2025, SpaceX's total revenue is $18,674 million. That's right, it's a lot. That's not a small amount of money. But even though they made $18 billion in revenue for the whole year, compared to the proposed valuation of $1.75 trillion, that means SpaceX is asking investors to value the company at almost 100 times its revenue. Now, let's dig a little deeper. Okay, in 2025, they made quite a bit of revenue, $18 billion. Is it profit or loss? We can look right here. Then, if you count down about 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, you'll see that in 2025, SpaceX had a loss of $4.937 billion. So let's take a look at whether SpaceX is likely to spend less money in the future. Maybe their income and expenses will look better. If we go back in the filing, it only goes back 3 years, so let's look at their capital expenditure. In 2023, SpaceX had expenses of $4.4 billion. In 2024, SpaceX had expenses of $11 billion. And in 2025, SpaceX's expenses shot up to over $20 billion. That means they're spending more and more every year. SpaceX is really good at spending. But to be fair, can we understand why SpaceX is investing or spending so much more each year? Well, for example, they're also expanding Starlink, always showing off new capabilities in the media. Or, for example, SpaceX is investing in building AI infrastructure, which costs a ton of money. So that could be a pretty reasonable explanation. But as an investor, meaning someone who puts money into investments, if you ask me, I feel like there are a lot of words. Numbers win over words. Because if you ignore all the explanations and just look at the numbers, which usually means looking at the balance sheet, right? Financial statements don't really lie. So if we look at SpaceX's performance from the very beginning over the past 24 years, how have their results been? There's actually a report in the Financial Times that says over 24 years of SpaceX's operations, they've accumulated losses. A staggering $37 billion. And there's another piece of news that I think is really very interesting. On the 24th of April, Reuters reported that SpaceX took out a bridge loan. What is a bridge loan? A bridge loan is a short-term loan. How much did they borrow? They borrowed a total of $20 billion to make SpaceX's overall debt look better before the IPO. To put it simply, it's like tidying up your house to make it look nice before inviting guests over. So if you ask, is it wrong? Honestly, it's not wrong. Everyone does it. Bridge loans are actually really common. Big companies often take out short-term loans called bridge loans before major events, like before an IPO or before acquiring another company. The idea is they get a bridge loan now, and then once the IPO happens, they'll have the funds to pay it back. Why not do it? It's a good thing. Your house will look nice and everything. But what we should pause and question is, if no one else is questioning it, let's question it together. Normally, everyone does it, so if it's not strange for others, let it be. But SpaceX, for example, says their IPO valuation is as high as $1.75 trillion. So why would they need a bridge loan of $20 billion? Why do it? Honestly, the answer isn't even that important. You don't really need to know. But what's important is actually right here, which is they even wrote that if SpaceX takes out this bridge loan and still can't generate this chunk of revenue within 6 months, it could mean that they'll have to use the funds raised from the IPO to pay it back. So there's a real possibility that if SpaceX does manage to raise funds from the IPO, whether it's $75 billion, $80 billion, or whatever amount, it might not actually go toward building the data center in orbit. It is possible that this money might not actually go toward the Mars colony or toward Starlink or even toward the development of the massive new Starship rocket. Instead, it'll go directly to the various financial institutions that serve as SpaceX's creditors. Next, if you feel that the credibility of the management team is an absolutely critical and essential factor to consider when you are investing, or, like I just mentioned, the market cap numbers that SpaceX expects to capture are quite high, $28 trillion. If you think that's important, I want you to look at the following information. Remember what I mentioned at the beginning of the clip? One of the future businesses that SpaceX talks about in their filings is long-distance point-to-point travel, which likely refers to the BFR rocket. And Gwen Shotwell, the president of SpaceX, has talked about this and even made promises about it on the TED Talk stage before. Back in the year 2018, she said that this revolutionary point-to-point intercontinental travel system, or the BFR rocket, would be able to take people from New York to Shanghai in a mere 30 minutes, with up to 10 trips per day. Gwen has mentioned before that it would be commercially available within just 10 years. Now, I want you to listen closely to this.
Business, space travel, the first flights. We're talking about the space race, Cape Canaveral. The world watched as it happened. It was a huge event, a fight to be the first with powerful spacecraft. And you see, point-to-point travel on Earth could solve a lot of problems. Imagine being able to cross the world in just a few hours. You'd be on the other side of the globe before you know it. That's what people have been dreaming about for years. And now it's becoming a reality. That means...
If you remember, Green Shortwell promised this back in 2018 and said it would happen in 10 years. That means 8 years have already passed and there are only 2 years left. Will it really happen or not? I'm not saying it's unbelievable just yet, because in these next 2 years, it might actually happen. It's possible. Or even if it takes a little longer than that, it would still count as achieving it, and that's fine. This really depends on each person's judgment. No one is right or wrong. Only time will tell what's right or wrong. And there's another business that hasn't come true yet, the Twitter Everything app that Elon Musk talked about. He intended to make it an everything app, like Tencent's WeChat, but it still hasn't happened. Elon Musk once said it would become a financial services platform for many years. And it has already received a money transmitter license from some states in the United States. But the payment product, the so-called Everything app, still hasn't materialized. So we need to take this into account when estimating SpaceX's numbers again. The market cap that SpaceX expects to capture is $28.5 trillion. In those numbers, there are still some businesses that we're not sure will actually come to exist, or if they do, when that will be. The most amazing thing about SpaceX isn't anything else. It's not AI, it's not rockets that can fly across the world in 30 minutes. It's none of that. The thing that really has to be the most impressive about SpaceX is it's Starship. Without Starship, the story of the company with a $1.75 trillion market IPO valuation just wouldn't exist. The financial publication Barron's even wrote that, honestly, launching Starship is a bigger deal than the SpaceX IPO itself. Because the investors who want to invest in SpaceX, it is because they truly want to invest. In space transportation, that can drastically cut costs, because SpaceX can reuse Starship. They're investing to buy AI infrastructure, which means the foundational infrastructure for AI in space. And they expect that Starship will be the perfect logistics solution to transport things from Earth to build, like, everything. Jingle bells, AI infrastructure, or whatever out in space. In orbit, this means a transformation in the space business. And yes, it looks like it could make a lot of money. Plus, it doesn't seem like there's much competition. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the clip, the Starship Flight 12 V3 test, which many media outlets called the Starship roadshow, wasn't exactly a wow moment. Just not failing, sometimes that's already a success. Some things succeed, some things fail right there on the spot. So the key point is, when we follow SpaceX news, if you want to know whether a certain event will bring money into SpaceX, or if a certain news story will drain money out of SpaceX, you can look at whether that news makes investors believe more or lose their confidence. whether SpaceX can actually change the space economy and business or not. If they really can, the money will flow in. But if they can't deliver and keep making investors wait for nothing, the money will flow out. It's like Nicki Minaj, all dressed up in a Starship outfit, planning to watch the Starship version 3 launch test. But on the day Nicki Minaj went to see it, she didn't get to see the launch. At first, Nicki Minaj came out praising Elon Musk and SpaceX for this and that, but in the end, they couldn't launch the Starship because of some technical reasons. So that day, Nicki Minaj was left disappointed. The Starship didn't fly, and it turned into a meme all over the internet. So for anyone who wants to invest, hey, SpaceX, IPO or whatever, make sure you do your research carefully.